of the law, but that child's innocent. That child did not deserve the death penalty because of the sins of his or her father. If my father does something terrible, that doesn't mean I should be killed. And when you tell a woman, hey, you had a rape, you should go have an abortion, that abortion is only going to add violence to the violence of the rape. You think that's going to help her recover from the rape? We're lying to ourselves to say that we're going to somehow help women emotionally or psychologically or spiritually by saying, go have an abortion, when she needs real help to recover from the rape. The solution is not to
We'll continue this after the break, but before we do, I want to get the third host of the show in. Omar, what's the community saying?
We have actually here Teddy Wilson, who says, it's one thing I never understood in proponents who say that late-term abortion is worse than early-term abortion, but they claim that both are murder. So it's a question that we probably can get into a little bit later on.
We're just getting started. Still ahead. Where's the line between anti-abortion and mob mentality intimidation? Tough question. Tweet Omar your thoughts using the hashtag AJAMStream and join the conversation as a third host of the show.
I'm Phil Torres, coming up this week on Techno.
Wow.
San Francisco's Bay Bridge, an engineering marvel. But this is earthquake country.
How close are we to one of those fault lines?
Now, innovation that might change everything.
How safe is this building?
Earthquake innovations.
Where would you want to be if a big quake hits?
Techno, Sunday 7:30 Eastern on Al Jazeera America.
Al Jazeera America is the only news channel that brings you live news at the top of every hour.
Here are the headlines of this hour.
Breaking news, sports, business, weather. Live news every hour on the hour, only on Al Jazeera America.
Hi, I'm Mike, founder of DollarShaveClub.com. What is DollarShaveClub.com? Well, for $1 a month, we send high-quality razors right to your door. Each razor has stainless steel blades, an aloe vera lubricating strip, and a pivot head. It's so gentle a toddler could use it. And do you like spending $20 a month on brand name razors? 19 go to Roger Federer. I'm good at tennis. And do you think your razor needs a vibrating handle, a flashlight, a back scratcher, and 10 blades? Your handsome-ass grandfather had 1 blade and polio. Looking good, pop up! Stop paying for shave tech you don't need. And stop forgetting to buy your blades every month. Alejandro and I are going to ship them right to you. So start deciding where you're going to stack all those dollar bills I'm saving you. We are DollarShaveClub.com, and the party is on.
On Al Jazeera America, change the way you look at news. Next, tune in to live news.
I'm John Siegenthaler, and here's a look at the headlines.
Information changes by the hour here.
Our team of award-winning journalists brings you up-to-the-minute coverage of today's events. Then, at 9 and midnight, America Tonight goes deeper with groundbreaking investigative coverage of the nation's top stories.
A fresh take on the stories that connect to you.
Live news at 8 and 11 Eastern, followed by America Tonight on Al Jazeera America. There's more to it.
My name is Dr. David Chafin. I'm a maternal fetal medicine specialist with Marshall University, Thundering Herd, and I'm in the stream.
Welcome back. We're talking about an upcoming vote next Tuesday in Albuquerque, New Mexico, that would ban after 20 weeks of pregnancy. Before the break, we asked you, the community, whether this pro-life initiative crossed the line into intimidation. Tough question, Omar. What's the community saying?
Some people are actually even describing it as harassment. If you take a look at my screen, Mitra says, if states insist on creating more restrictions, it only seems fair to levy equally harsh punishments on harassers of providers. And we also have tree-hugging liberal here, the name gives it away a little bit, who basically says that this is merely a stepping stone effort. Everyone should know that their goal is personhood amendment, no abortion, even if raped, incest, or even if the life of the mother is on the line. I'm sure these are all questions that our guests would like to debate in a little bit.
Well, Tara, you heard Lila speak in the first block. What's your response?
Are you asking me to specifically respond to a certain point, or just in general?
I mean, what's this? The community has been asking about, whether or not this is crossing into intimidation. I mean, do you agree with that? Do you think their tactics here are intimidating what is essentially still a right?
Right. I mean, I think that you know, this is obviously an issue where tensions are running really high. There's a lot of grassroots activism that's going on the ground in Albuquerque. You know, you're seeing, you know, there's a truck with really graphic images of abortion driving around the city trying to drum up support for this ban. I think that, you know, it makes sense that emotions are running high and that people feel very strongly on both sides of the issue. But, you know, I honestly do feel that these efforts to legislate individual women's choices and individual women's bodies and their right to bodily and physical autonomy does cross the line. And I don't think that, you know, it necessarily matters whether we're talking about, you know, a pregnancy at 4 weeks, at 12 weeks, or at 20 weeks. You know, it crosses the line when it comes to women's constitutional protections, and it crosses the line into, you know, women's right to privacy between them, their families, their doctors, their choices.
So, Tara, would you allow abortion up until the moment the baby is born for any reason?
You know, I think that...
Even if that baby feels pain?
I think that that is something that is best left up to medical professionals, and I know that the clinic that you referenced in Albuquerque, Southwestern Women's Options Clinic, they have their own, you know, system for deciding the point at which they will no longer perform abortions. I think they go up to about 28 weeks. I think something like that is appropriate. They deal with women on a case-by-case basis. They listen to these women's stories. They consider every aspect of the medical care that she needs. You know, I just don't think that this is something that states, whether it's on a federal, a state, or a city level, I don't think it's something that legislation needs to be restricting. I think that it's something that women can decide for themselves, and I think it's ultimately something that medical professionals will deal with and figure out where to draw that line.
Well, Lila, before I have you respond, we're going to go to the community right now. Omar, what are they saying?
We actually have a couple of legal questions that are coming in, but if you'd like actually to take a chance to respond to this particular point, go for it.
Yeah, sure. Real quick, so I'm a complete pro-woman. I consider myself a pro-life feminist. I think that women should have autonomy over their bodies, that they should have, you know, every opportunity to achieve their dreams and success in society. They should be elected to office, all of it. But when it comes to another body in your body, another person that's a unique individual human being from their single-cell embryo state all the way up 40 weeks to when they're an infant and they're born, that's another human being. So as a woman, I respect other people's rights, and I recognize that my rights end when another person's rights begin.
Yeah, but Lila, look,
so
a lot of people...
your right to life, yours, Tara, I respect it. I'd never say you should die, you should be killed, whether you're a single-cell embryo, you're a 20-week fetus that can feel pain, you're 40 weeks right before birth. I think you should be protected, and that's because I believe in human rights.
Yeah, Lila, but a lot of people might agree with you morally, but at the same time, women have a legal right. So why, people are asking, why legislate your morality?
This is, every law is a form of legislative morality. You know, the law that says you shouldn't rape, the law that says you shouldn't murder, you shouldn't cheat on your taxes, okay? So the question is, which laws should we have? And I think that when we consider human rights, we should have basic laws to protect fundamental human rights. And I think everybody can agree the first human right is life. If I don't have my life, every other right is meaningless, right? My right to make the sexual choices I may want to make, right? My right to act in an economy, whatever it might be. So if I don't have life, these are meaningless. That's why protecting the right to life of a child, even though they're weak, they're defenseless, you can't see them because they're behind, you know, a woman's belly, you can't even see the child. That's a human being.
Well, we're going to have some community here for Antoinette.
That's why they're fighting this fight in Albuquerque.
There's some legal questions, there's some tweets. Take it away, Omar.
Antoinette, take a listen to this. We have a tweet here from Barely Americano who says, the Supreme Court got rid of Roe trimester scheme for a reason. These lines are arbitrary and they violate fundamental right to terminate pregnancy. And then we have a video comment here from Eduardo. Take a listen to this.
According to Casey v. Planned Parenthood, a law restricting the right to an abortion is unconstitutional if it places an undue burden on the exercise of that right. Roe v. Wade barely survived in Casey, and it was Justice Kennedy who worked with the moderate justices to reaffirm that fundamental right. But Kennedy also made it clear that Roe's trimester system had to go. As long as Kennedy is on the court, I personally doubt a restriction that draws an arbitrary line at 20 weeks could survive a legal challenge.
So, do you think that the line is arbitrary, and do you think that basically legally it could be easily challenged on those grounds?
I think that it's going to be challenged on that for that reason.